You don't have your okay. So you should pick somewhere. Where's the girl? Two.
I think I'm free.
Guess I'll just start. I bet you're worried.
We are worried.
We're worried about vaginas.
We were worried about what we think about vaginas, and even more worried that we don't think about them. We were very worried about our own vaginas. They needed a context of other vaginas, a community, a culture of vaginas. There's so much darkness and secrecy around them, like the Bermuda Triangle. Nobody ever reports back from there.
In the first place, it's not so easy to find your vagina. Women go weeks, months, sometimes years without even looking at it. A high-powered businesswoman has interviewed, and she says that she is too busy to find her vagina. She did not have the time. Looking at your vagina, she said, it's a full day's work. I want to get paid for that job. Right?
I can't relate, but it sounds hard.
Let's just start with the word vagina. It sounds like an infection at best, maybe a medical instrument. Hurry, nurse, bring me my vagina. 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 Doesn't matter how many times you say it, it never sounds like a word. You want to say, it's totally ridiculous, completely unsexy word. If you use it during sex, trying to be politically correct. Darling, could you stroke my vagina? You kill the act right there.
We were worried about vaginas. What do we call them and don't call them?
So, there were vagina interviews, and that became Vaginal Monologues. And from there, totally forgot. Let's see. Yeah, I completely forgot.
Well, in Westchester, they call it a pookie.
In New Jersey, a twat.
In New York, a pussycat. As a matter of fact, there was a mother in New York who was telling her daughter that she should not be wearing panties underneath her pajamas because she needs to air out her pussycat.
Oh my goodness. A toady, a Dee, a nishi, dignity, a monkey box.
Oh.
A coochie shooter and a cooter.
Ooh. I'm going to go with a powder box, a poochie, a poopy.
Love those. A va, wee wee, maybe a horse spot, a nappy dugout.
Hey, I like that.
A mongo, a mookie, a pajama, a fanny poo, and a marshmallow.
Ooh, a mushmallow. What about Georgia O'Queef?
Yes.
And you know, here in New Mexico, we call it a concha, a como se llama.
Oh, well.
If we're going to get more food technical, a cookie, a taco, or in other words, a sausage wallet.
Yep, sausage wallet. Gotta do that one. Don't forget, there's always a huli, there's a possible. There is a tamale, there is a totita, and don't forget Connie. Classic.
Okay. Well, all in all to say, we're worried.
Very,
about
very worried
vaginas.
about vaginas.
Oh, yeah, just one. Yeah.
Let us know.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I paid. I didn't have to leave.
Yeah, we'll get it for you.
Okay, I'll get it on the mail.
Okay.
Thanks, ma'am.
She's somewhere. Yeah, I don't know. I saw her earlier. She's here. She's up front. Yeah, she'll be listening, yeah. She'll be doing one of her things. I don't know. I think there are 3 is the opening.
Are you going back? Are you going to find mommy? Will I come back this way?
Welcome everybody. Yay! Let's talk about vaginas tonight. All right, so we are super excited to bring the Vaginal Monologues here to Gallup. We have an amazing, incredible group of people who are all really excited to share what's in their hearts, what's in their souls, and just really to lift up voices on behalf of vaginas and women and all types of people who are marginalized.
In case you hadn't noticed, there's a whole bunch of tables out front. Please feel free to take some literature. If you have any questions, please ask any of us. We're happy to help you. And it's silent, but there's something up there that you can bid on, or 2 or 3. Okay? Thank you all so much for coming. If you've made your donation, don't forget to pick up some popcorn at the concession stand. And don't forget to pick up some candy or drinks and say hello to our friends at El Moro who have been so helpful and so supportive. Please give them a round of applause. Awesome. The Vaginal Monologues were first performed by Eve Ensler in 1996, so we're at almost 30 years. And in 1996, there weren't a lot of people telling women's stories, women who maybe didn't have a voice or couldn't raise their voice. And so I hope you really enjoy tonight's performances. We have some original pieces, some new pieces, and some of our community members have taken it upon themselves to express themselves. So please enjoy. Hello, everyone.
So look, I bet you're worried. It's all right, Dee. It's okay. We're all worried.
We're worried about vaginas.
We're worried about what we think about vaginas, and even more, that we don't think about them. I mean, we were worried about our own vaginas. They needed a context of other vaginas, a community, a culture of vaginas. There's so much darkness and secrecy surrounding them, like the Bermuda Triangle. I mean, nobody ever reports back from there.
Right? In the first place, it's not so easy to even find your vagina. Women go weeks, months, sometimes even years without even looking at it. It sounds like it's a deep cave. I don't know. A high-powered businesswoman was interviewed, and she said she was too busy. She didn't have the time to find the vagina. Looking at your vagina, she said, is a full day's work. That's work you want to get paid for, though. Yes.
Expensive.
Expensive.
Way too expensive. But you know, let's just start with the word vagina. It sounds like an infection at best. Maybe a medical instrument. Hurry, nurse, bring my vagina. Vagina? Vagina? I mean, doesn't matter how many times you say it, it never sounds like a word you want to say. It's totally ridiculous, completely unsexy. If you use it during sex trying to be politically correct, darling, could you stroke my vagina? You'll kill the act right there.
We're worried about what you call vaginas and what you don't want to call them.
So, there were vagina interviews, which became the Vagina Monologues. We interviewed over 200 women. We're talking older women, young women, married women, single women, lesbians, corporate professionals, actors. You name it, they interviewed it. It didn't matter if they were Black, Asian American, Native American, Caucasian, Jewish women. They went for all of them. So, that makes you wonder, weren't women reluctant to first talk about their vaginas? Sure they were. They were a little shy. But, you know, with some time, once you get them talking, you can't get them to stop. It's just all vaginas.
Vaginas.
All vaginas. They get very excited. And you know what I found? It's because mainly, no one's ever asked them about it.
Well, you know, in Westchester, they call it a cookie.
Oh, I like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard in New Jersey they call it a twat.
Okay. Well then, did you know that in New York, I spoke to a woman who actually said that her mother called it a pussycat? She even said that she was not allowed to wear panties underneath her pajamas as a kid because she needed to air out her pussycat. Yes?
Well, you know, I've never heard of a toady, a dee-dee, a nishi, dignity, a monkey box.
Oh.
What the heck?
And other words, I heard one calling it coochie snooter.
Oh, yes.
You snoop, snoop.
Sounds like something from Dr. Seuss, though.
What about a va?
Oh, a va. I like a va.
Yeah. A wee wee?
Classic.
Horse spot? A nap dugout.
Oh, yeah, nappy dugout, yeah.
You didn't know.
After a long weekend. What about you guys in the crowd? Anybody else have any names?
Yes.
Ooh, a patty cake?
Patty cake.
Now we're getting food technical. I love it.
What about Georgia O'Keeffe? No? Oh, okay.
What did you say? A coin purse?
What?
Keep the closer open? And in New Mexico, a concha? A como se llama?
Feeding off that food vibe, I'm thinking a cookie, a taco, or to get really technical, a sausage wallet.
Oh, boy. Oh, yes. The old sausage wallets.
Sausage wallet.
Yeah, we're going to underline that a few times.
I don't know about that one, Nate.
Oh. Use what you like.
I know. But you know, to say we are all
Worried about vaginas.
vaginas.
Yes.
So should you.
Thank you, guys.
a vagina unless you love hair. Most people don't love hair. My first and only ex-husband hated hair. He called it dirty and cluttered. He made me shave my vagina. It looked puffy and exposed like a little girl. And that excited him. When he made love to me, my vagina must have felt like a beard. Nice to the touch, but painful. It felt like it was on fire. It felt like I was itching a mosquito bite. There were red, screaming bumps everywhere. I refused to shave it again. My ex-husband then had an affair. We went to marital counseling and he told the therapist that he screwed around because I wasn't pleasing him sexually. That I wouldn't shave my vagina. And our therapist, she had a real thick German accent and she would gasp after every sentence of his to show her sympathy. And she asked me, why? Why won't you shave your vagina? Why won't you please your husband? And I looked at her and I said, because I think it's weird. When I have no hair down there, it makes me feel like a little girl. And I can't help but talk in a little girl voice. And my skin gets so irritated that even calamine lotion doesn't help. But she told me, marriage is compromise. Well, then I asked her, well, if I shave my vagina, do you think my husband will stop screwing around? Then I asked her, do you see many of these cases? And she said, questions dilute the process. You gotta jump in, and it'll be a great beginning for you. So later that night, we went home, and my husband got to shave my vagina. And he was so excited. It was like a therapy bonus prize. He got so excited, he clipped me a couple times, and there was some blood in the tub, but he didn't even notice. Then later, when he was pressing his body against mine, there was no protection. I could feel his spiky sharpness sticking into my naked, puffy vagina. It was then in that moment that I realized why we have hair down there. It's the leaf around the flower. It's the lawn around the home. You can't love a vagina without loving hair. You can't pick which parts you want. Besides, my husband, he never stopped screwing around.
All of the women were asked the following questions.
If your vagina could talk, dress, what would it wear?
Glasses, a beret,
leather jacket, silk stockings, mink, and a pink boa.
A male tuxedo, jeans, something form-fitting.
Emerald, an evening gown, sequin.
Armani only.
A tutu, see-through black underwear, and ball gown.
Something machine washable.
Costume eye mask, purple velvet pajamas, a red bow.
Pearls, a leopard hat, a silk kimono, sweatpants, a tattoo.
An electrical shock device to keep unwanted strangers away.
High heels, which could also keep strangers at bay. Lace and combat boots. Purple feathers, twigs, and shells. Cotton.
And pinafore,
A bikini.
a slicker.
If your vagina could talk, what would it say? Two
Slow
words.
down.
Is that you?
Feed me. I want yum yum. Oh yeah.
Start again. No. Over there. Licky. Stay home. Brave choice.
Think again. More, please. Embrace me. Let's play.
Don't stop. More. Remember me?
Come inside. Not yet. Whoa, mama. Yes.
Enter at your own risk.
Oh God. Thank God. I'm here. Let's go. Find me.
Thank you. Bergeron. Too hard. Don't give up.
Where's Brian? That's better. Yes, there.
Down there. Down there, you want me to talk about down there? I haven't been down there since the 90s. No, it wasn't because of Clinton. It's musty down there, clammy, suffocating, nauseating. It's like a cellar in a house. You just want to close the door and forget it. You get sick. Nauseating. The smell gets on your clothes. No, there was no accident down there. It didn't blow up. It wasn't that dramatic. Well, you know what? Never mind. What is a smart girl like you going around asking old women about their down theres? You want to learn about my down there? There was this boy, Andy Lefkov. He was so good looking, cute, short like me, and I really liked him. He asked me out for a date in his car. A brand new, you know what, I can't do this. I can't. Brand new white Mustang convertible. You know, we drove around with the top down, and we parked at the beach. and I was picking my fingernails, and Andy leaned over and kissed me in that take control movie way. And I was so excited. It's like this flood just emptied out. I couldn't control it. It went from inside me into my panties and onto his seat of his brand new white Mustang convertible. It was like this force of passion, a river of life. It wasn't pee, and it wasn't smelly. I mean, I thought. But he said I smelled like sour milk. And I was staining his car, and he called me that stinky weird girl. I tried to tell him that it was his kiss that caught me off guard, like it was so magical. I tried to mop it up with my dress, this brand new checkered red plaid dress. It looked so ugly with the flood on it. He drove me home. He didn't say another word. He didn't even say goodbye. I got out of his car, I closed the door, and I closed the entire store. Locked it. Never opened it for business again. And the idea of flooding was just too terrifying. Yeah, I had dreams. Of course. No, they're corny. I mean, really silly. Okay, Tom Hanks. He did not do much for me in life, but in my dreams, it was Tom and I, Splash Tom. And it was always the same type of dream. You know, we would be in this restaurant in Las Vegas with the chandeliers and the tinkling of the glass. And we would be laughing, and then we would be eating these shrimp, these jumbo shrimp. And then he pulled me toward him. And just as he was about to kiss me, the flood would just come from my panties, and pigeons would fly out from under the table. I don't even know why the pigeons were there. But the flood, and it went everywhere, and Tom is standing waist deep in the flood, and the whole restaurant was like swimming, and his friends were there, like John Travolta, and they're just swimming in their tuxedos. And there was like fish inside and little boats. He was so disgusted with me for doing it again. I don't have those dreams anymore. Not since, they took everything away. They closed up, they took away the tubes and the uterus, and the doctor, he thought he was being really funny because he said, if you don't use it, you lose it. Well, I found out it was cancer, everything had to go. Well, who needs it anyway? I mean, it's highly overrated, right? I've done other things. I've loved the dog shows. I rescue dogs. I sell antiques. I have a very full life. What would my vagina wear? It would wear a sign that said, "Closed due to flooding." What would it say? I told you, it's not like that. It's not a person who speaks. It stopped being a thing that spoke a long time ago. It's a place you don't go. You close it up and just leave it alone. It's down there. Are you happy? You made an old woman talk about her down there. You're the first one I've ever told this to. I kind of feel a little better. The Vagina Workshop.
My vagina is a small shell, a round, tender shell, opening and closing, opening and closing.
My vagina is a flower, an eccentric tulip. The center acute and deep, the scent delicate, the petals gentle but sturdy.
I didn't always know this. I learned this in the Vagina Workshop. I learned a woman who runs the Vagina Workshop, a woman who believes in vaginas, who really sees vaginas, who helps other women see their own vaginas by seeing other women's vaginas.
In the first session, the woman who runs the Vagina Workshop asked us to draw a picture of our own unique, beautiful, fabulous vagina. That's what she called it. She wanted to know what our own unique, beautiful, fabulous vagina did to us. One woman who was pregnant drew a big red mouth, screaming with coins spilling out. Another very skinny woman drew a big serving plate with a kind of Devonshire pattern on it.
I drew a black dot with wavy lines around it. The black dot was equal to a black hole in space, and the wavy lines were just people or things or atoms that got lost there. I always thought of my vagina as an anatomical black hole, just sucking random particles or objects from the surrounding environment. I never thought of it as something in biological or practical terms. I never thought of it as something attached to me.
In the workshop, we were asked to look at our vaginas with hand mirrors. Then after careful examination, we were to verbally report to the group what we saw. I must tell you that the truth, that up to this point, everything I knew about my vagina was based on hearsay or intervention. I had never really seen the thing. It never occurred to me to look at my vagina. My vagina existed for me on some abstract plane. It seemed so reductive and awkward looking at it, like we were in the workshop on our shiny blue mats with our hand mirrors. It reminded me of how the early astronomers must have felt with their primitive telescopes.
It was quite unsettling at first, my vagina. Kind of like the first time you see a fish cut open and you discover this whole other bloody, complex world inside, right under the skin. It was so red, so fresh, so raw. The thing that surprised me the most was all the layers. Layers, inside layers, and opening up into more layers.
My vagina amazed me. I couldn't speak when it came to my turn in the workshop. I was speechless. I had awakened towards the woman who ran the workshop called Vaginal Wonder. I just wanted to lay on my mat, my legs spread, examining my vagina forever.
It was better than the Grand Canyon. Ancient and full of grace. It had the innocence and freshness of a proper English garden. It was funny, very funny. It made me laugh. It could hide and seek, open and close.
Then the woman who ran the workshop asked how many women in the workshop had had orgasm. 2 women tentatively raised their hands.
I didn't raise my hand, but I had orgasms. I didn't raise my hand because they were accidental orgasms. They happened to me. They happened in my dreams, and I would awake in splendor. They happened a lot in water, usually in the bath, once in Cape Cod.
They happened on horses, on bicycles, sometimes on the treadmill at the gym. I did not raise my hand because although I had orgasms, I did not know how to make one happen. I thought it was a mystical, magical thing. I didn't want to interfere. It felt wrong getting involved. Contrived, manipulative. It felt Hollywood. The surprise would be gone and the mystery. The problem, of course, was that the surprise had been gone for 2 years. I hadn't had a magical accidental orgasm in a long time. And I was frantic. That's why I was in the vagina workshop.
And then the moment arrived that I both dreaded and longed for. The woman that ran the workshop asked us to grab our hand mirrors again and try to find our clitoris. We were there, this group of women, on our mats, on our backs, searching for our spots, our reason, our locus. I don't know why, but I started crying. Maybe it was sheer embarrassment. Maybe it was knowing that I'd have to give up the fantasy. The life-altering fantasy that someone or something was coming along to do it for me. The fantasy that someone was coming to lead my life, to choose direction, to give me orgasms.
I could feel the panic coming. The simultaneous terror and realization that I had avoided finding my clitoris, had rationalized it as mainstream and consumerist because I was, in fact, terrified that I did not have a clitoris. Terrified that I was one of those constitutionally incapables, one of those frigid, dead, shut down, dry, apricot tasting bitter. Oh my God. I lay there with my mirror, looking for my spot, reaching with my fingers, and all I could think about was the time when I was 10 and lost my spot. Reaching with my fingers, gold ring with the emeralds in a lake. How I kept driving over and over to the bottom of the lake, running my hands over stones and fish and bottle caps and slimy stuff, but never my ring. The panic I felt, I knew I'd be punished.
The woman who ran the workshop saw my insane scrambling, sweating, and heavy breathing. She came over. I told her, "It's gone. It's gone. I've lost my clitoris. I shouldn't have worn it swimming." The woman who ran the workshop laughed. She calmly stroked my forehead. She told me my clitoris was not gone. It was not something I could lose. It was me, she said, the essence of me. It was both the doorbell to my house and the house itself. I didn't have to find it. I had to be it.
Be it? Be my clitoris. Be my clitoris. I lay back and closed my eyes. I put my mirror down. I watched myself floating above myself. I watched as I slowly began to approach myself and re-enter. I felt like an astronaut re-entering the surface of the earth. It was very quiet, this re-entry, quiet and gentle. I bounced and landed and bounced.
And then I came into my own muscles and blood and cells. And then I entered my vagina. And suddenly it was easy and I fit. I was warm and pulsing and ready and young and alive. And then, without looking, with my eyes still closed, I put my finger on what had suddenly become me.
There was a little quivering at first, which urged me to stay. Then the quivering became a quake, an eruption, the layers dividing and subdividing. The awakening broke open into an ancient horizon of light and silence, which opened onto a plane of music and colors and innocence and longing, and I felt connection, calling connection, as I lay there thrashing about on my little blue mat. My vagina.
Me.
At 5 years old, I was putting my sister's diaper on. I saw her vagina. I wanted one. I wanted one. I thought it would grow.
I thought I would open. I ached to belong. I ached to smell like my mother. Her sweet aroma lived in my hair, on my hands, in my skin. I ached to be pretty. Pretty.
I wondered why I was missing my bathing suit top at the beach, why I wasn't dressed like all the other girls. I ached to belong. I ached to be completed.
They assigned me a sex the day I was born. It's as random as being adopted or as being assigned a hotel room on the 30th floor. It has nothing to do with who you are or your fear of heights.
But in spite of the apparatus I was forced to carry around, I always knew I was a girl.
They beat me for it. They beat me for crying. They pummeled me for wanting.
To touch,
To pet,
to hug,
to help,
To hold their hands.
for trying to fly in church,
for doing cartwheels,
crocheting socks.
for carrying purses to kindergarten.
They kicked the shit out of me every day on my way to school.
In the park, they smashed my magic marker painted nails.
they punched my lipsticked mouth,
They beat the girl out of my boy.
or they tried.
So I went underground. I stopped playing the flute.
Be a man. Stand up for yourself. Fight back.
I grew a full beard.
It was good I was big.
I joined the Marines. Suck it up. Drive on.
I became duller,
Jaded,
Sometimes cruel.
butch it,
butch it,
Butch it up.
always clenched, inaccurate, incomplete.
I ran away from home.
From school,
from boot camp,
ran to Miami.
Greenwich Village,
Aleutian Islands.
New Orleans.
I found gay people.
wilderness lesbians.
I got my first hormone shot. I got permission to be myself.
To transition, to travel, to immigrate. 350 hours of hot needles. I would count the male particles as they died. 16 man hairs gone.
The feminine is in your face. I lift my eyebrows more. I'm curious. I ask questions.
And my voice. Practice, practice. It's all about resonance. Sing song, sing song. Men are monotone and flat. Hello, my friend.
And my vagina is so much friendlier. I cherish it. It brings me so much joy.
And the orgasms, they come in waves. Before they were jerky.
I'm your girl next door.
My Lieutenant Colonel father ended up paying for it. My vagina.
My mother was worried what people would think of her, that she made this happen, until I came to church with her and everyone said, "You have a beautiful daughter."
I got to be soft. I'm allowed to listen. I'm able to receive.
To be in the present tense.
People are so much nicer to me now.
I can wake up in the morning, put my hair in a ponytail.
A wrong was righted. I am right with God.
It's like when you're trying to sleep and there's this really loud car alarm going off. When I got my vagina, it was like someone finally turned it off.
I live now in the female zone, but you know how people feel about immigrants. They don't like it when you come from someplace else. They don't like it when you mix.
And they killed my boyfriend. They beat him insanely as he slept with a baseball bat.
They beat this girl out of his head.
They didn't want him dating a foreigner, even though she was pretty and she listened and she was kind. They didn't want him falling in love with ambiguity.
They were scared he'd get lost. They were that terrified of love.
Because he liked to look at it. This is how I came to love my vagina. It's embarrassing because it's not politically correct. I mean, I know it should have happened in a bath with salt grains from the Dead Sea, Enya playing My Loving My Woman Self. I know the story, vaginas are beautiful. Our self-hatred is only the internalized repression and hatred of the patriarchal culture. It isn't real. Pussies unite! I know it all. Like, if we'd grown up in a culture where we taught fat thighs were beautiful, we'd all be pounding down milkshakes and Krispy Kremes, lying on our backs, spending our days thigh expanding. But we didn't grow up in that culture. I hated my thighs and I hated my vagina even more. I thought it was incredibly ugly. I was one of those women who had looked at it, and from that moment on, I wished I hadn't. It made me sick. I pitied anyone who had to go down there. In order to survive, I began to pretend there was something else between my legs. I imagined furniture, cozy futons with light cushion comforters, little velvet settees, leopard rugs, or pretty things, silk handkerchiefs, quilted pot holders, or place settings. I got so accustomed to this that I lost all memory of having a vagina. Whenever a man was inside me, I pictured him inside a mink-lined muffler or a Chinese bowl. Then I met Bob. Bob was the most ordinary man I ever met. He was thin and tall and nondescript and wore khaki tan clothes. Bob did not like spicy foods, nor did he listen to Prince. He had no interest in sexy lingerie. In the summer, he spent time in the shade. He did not share his inner feelings. He did not have any problems or issues, and was not even an alcoholic. He wasn't very funny or articulate or mysterious. He wasn't mean or unavailable. He wasn't self-involved or charismatic. He didn't drive fast. I didn't particularly like Bob. I would have missed him altogether if he hadn't picked up my change that I dropped on the deli floor. When he handed me back my quarters and pennies, and his hand accidentally touched mine, something happened. I went to bed with him. That's when the miracle occurred. Turned out that Bob loved vaginas. He was a connoisseur. He loved the way they felt, the way they tasted, the way they smelled, but most importantly, he loved the way they looked. The first time we had sex, he told me he had to see me. I'm right here, I said. No, you, he said. I have to see you. Turn on the light, I said, thinking he was a weirdo or am freaking out in the dark at the same time. He turned on the light. Then he said, okay, I'm ready to see you. Right here, I waved. I'm right here. Then he began to undress me. What are you doing, Bob? I said. I need to see you. No need, I said. Just do it. I need to see what you look like, he said. But you've seen a red leather couch before, I said. Bob continued. He wouldn't stop. I wanted to throw up and die. This is awfully intimate, I said. Can't you just do it? No, he said. It's who you are. I need to look. I held my breath. He looked and looked. He got breathy, and his face changed. He didn't look ordinary anymore. He looked like a hungry beast. You're beautiful, he said. You're elegant and deep and innocent and wild. You saw that there? I said. It was like he read my palm. I saw that, he said, and more, much, much more. He stayed looking for almost an hour, as if he were studying a map, observing the moon, staring into my eyes. But it was my vagina. In the light, I watched him looking at me, and he was so genuinely excited, so peaceful and euphoric. I began to get wet and turned on. I began to see myself the way he saw me. I began to feel beautiful and delicious, like a great painting or a waterfall. Bob wasn't afraid. He wasn't grossed out. I began to swell, began to feel proud, began to love my vagina. And Bob lost himself there. And I was there with him, in my vagina, and we were gone.
My vagina is angry. It is.
It's pissed off. My vagina is furious, and it needs to talk. It needs to talk about all this shit. It needs to talk to you. I mean, what's the deal? An army of people out there thinking of ways to torture my poor ass, gentle, loving vagina? Spending their days constructing psycho products and nasty ideas to undermine my pussy. Vagina motherfuckers. All this shit they're constantly trying to shove up us, clean us up, stuff us up, make it go away. Well, my vagina's not going away. It's pissed off, and it's staying right here. A wad of dry, like tampons. What the hell is that? A wad of dry fucking cotton stuffed up there? Why can't they find a way to subtly lubricate the tampon? As soon as my vagina sees it, it goes into shock. It says, forget it. It closes up. You need to work with the vagina. You need to introduce things, prepare the way. That's what foreplay is all about. You got to convince my vagina, seduce my vagina, engage my vagina's trust. You can't do that with a wad of dry fucking cotton. Stop shoving things up there. Stop shoving, stop cleaning it up. My vagina doesn't need to be cleaned up. It smells good already. Don't try to decorate it. Don't believe him when he tells you it smells like rose petals when it's supposed to smell like pussy. That's what they're doing, trying to clean it up, make it smell like the bathroom spray or a garden. All those douche sprays, floral, berry, rain. I don't want my pussy to smell like berries or rain. All cleaned up like washing a fish after you cook it. I want to taste the fish. That's why I ordered it. Then there's those exams. Who thought them up? There has got to be a better way. Why the scary paper dress that scratches your tits and crunches when you lie down like you feel like a wad of paper that somebody tossed out? Why the rubber gloves? Why the flashlight all up in there like Nancy Drew working against gravity? Why the steel stirrups? The mean cold duck lips they want to shove inside you. What is that? My vagina's angry with those visits. It gets defensive weeks in advance. It won't get out of the house. You get there. Don't you hate that? Scooch down. Just a little further. Relax your vagina. Why? So you can shove those mean cold duck lips up inside that? I don't think so. Why can't they find some nice, delicious purple velvet and wrap it around me? Lay me on some feathery cotton spread. Put on some nice, friendly pink or maybe blue gloves and rest my feet in some fur-covered stirrups. Warm up the duck lips. Work with my vagina. But no, more tortures. Dry wad of fucking cotton, cold duck lips, and thong underwear. That's the worst. Who thought that up? It moves around all the time. It gets stuck in the back of your vagina and real crusty butt. Vaginas are supposed to be loose and wild, not held together. That's why girdles are so bad. We need to move and spread and talk and talk. Vaginas need comfort. Make something like that. Something to give them pleasure. No, of course they won't do that. Hate to see a woman having pleasure, particularly sexual pleasure. I mean, make a nice pair of soft cotton underwear with a French tickler built in. Women would be coming all day. coming in the supermarket, coming on the subway, coming happy vaginas. They wouldn't be able to stand it, seeing all those energized, not taking shit, hot, happy vaginas. If my vagina could talk, it would talk about itself like me. It would talk about other vaginas. It would do vagina impressions. It would wear Harry Winston diamonds. No clothing, just there all draped in diamonds. My vagina helped me release a giant baby. It thought it would be doing more of that. It's not. Now it wants to travel. Doesn't want a lot of company. It wants to read, to know things, and get out more. It wants sex. It loves sex. It wants to go deeper. It's hungry for depth. It wants kindness. It wants change. It wants silence and freedom and gentle kisses and warm liquids and trust and beauty. It wants to scream. It wants to stop being angry. It wants to come. It wants to want. It wants. My vagina, well, it wants everything.
Women, life, freedom. I read this piece in dedication to women whose bodies are abused and therefore against them. My vagina was green, soft pink fields, cow mooing, sun resting, sweet boyfriend touching lightly with soft piece of blunt straw. There is something between my legs. I do not know what it is. I do not know where it is. I do not touch. Not now. Not anymore. Not since. My vagina was chatty. Can't wait. So much saying. Words, talking. Can't quit trying. Can't quit saying. Oh yes. Oh yes. Not since I dreamed there's a dead animal sewn in down there with thick black fishing line. And the bad dead animal smell cannot be removed. Its throat is slit. It bleeds through all my summer dresses. My vagina is singing all girl songs, all goat bell ring songs, all wild autumn field songs, vagina home song. Not since the soldiers put a thick rifle in sight. So cold, the steel rod canceling my heart. I don't know whether they're gonna fire it or shove it through my spinning brain. 6 of them. Monstrous doctors in black masks, shoving bottles up me too. There are sticks. And the end of a broom. My vagina's swimming, river water, clean spilling water over sun-baked stones, over stone clit stones over and over. Not since I heard the skin tear and made the lemon screeching sounds. Not since a piece of my vagina came off in my hand, a part of the lip. Now one side of the lip is completely gone. My vagina, my wet water village, my vagina, my hometown. Not since they took turns for 7 days, smelling like feces and smoked meat. They left their dirty sperm inside me. I became a river of poison and pus. All the crops died. And the fish. My vagina, a live wet water village. They butchered it. They burned it down. I don't touch it. I don't visit. I live someplace else now. I do not know where that is.
Today, while I was trying to choose something to wear, I couldn't help thinking about all the comments, all the harassment that I would be the target of if I wore a miniskirt. Is that going to make me wear something else? Fuck no. I would be harassed if I wore a spacesuit anyway. I love myself in a miniskirt. I look good, I feel good, nothing will spoil that. It's not an invitation, a provocation, or an indication that I want it, or give it, or that I hook. My short skirt is not begging you for it. It does not want you to rip it off me or pull it down. My short skirt is not a legal reason for raping me, although it has been before. It will not hold up in court in the new court. My short skirt, believe it or not, has nothing to do with you. My short skirt is about discovering the power of my lower calves, about cool autumn air traveling up my inner thighs, about allowing everything I see or pass or feel to live inside. My short skirt is not proof that I am stupid or undecided or a malleable good little girl. My short skirt is my defiance. I will not let you make me afraid. My short skirt is not showing off. This is who I am. Before you made me cover it or tone it down, get used to it. My short skirt is happiness. I can feel myself on the ground. I am here. I am hot. My short skirt is a liberation flag in the woman's army. I declare these streets, any streets, my vagina's country. My short skirt is turquoise water with swimming colored fish, a summer festival in the starry dark, a bird calling, a train arriving in a foreign town. My short skirt is a wild spin, a full breath, a tango dip. My short skirt is initiation, appreciation, excitation. But mainly, my short skirt and everything under it is mine, mine, mine.
My mama yelled at me. It was loud and life-threatening, and she said, "Stop scratching your coochie snorcher." I've become terrified that I've scratched it off down there. I do not touch myself again, even in the bath. I'm afraid of the water getting in and filling me up, and I explode. So I put Band-Aids over my coochie to cover the hole, but they fall off in the water. I imagine a stopper, a bathtub plug up there. To prevent things from entering me, I sleep with 3 pairs of happy heart patterned cotton underpants underneath my snap-up pajamas. I still want to touch myself sometimes, but I don't. Edgar Montaigne, He's 10. He got angry at me and he punched me with all his might right in between my legs. It feels like he breaks my entire self. I limp home. I can't pee. My mama asks me what's wrong with my coochie snorcher, and when I tell her what Edgar did, she yells at me. And she says, never to let anyone touch me down there again. I tried to explain that he didn't touch it, Mama. He punched it. Memory, 9 years old. I play on the bed, bouncing and falling, and I impale my coochie snorcher on the bedpost. I make a high-pitched, screamy noise that comes straight from my coochie snorcher's mouth. I get taken to the hospital, and they sew it up down there from where it's been torn apart. 10 years old. I'm at my father's house, and he's having a party upstairs. Everyone's drinking. I'm playing alone in the basement, and I'm trying on my new cotton white bra and panties that my father's girlfriend gave me. Suddenly, my father's best friend, this big man Alfred, comes up from behind. He pulls my underpants down and he sticks his big, hard penis into me. I scream and I kick. I try to fight him off, but he's already in. Then my father's there and he has a gun and there's a horrible loud noise and then there's blood all over. There's blood all over Alfred. There's blood all over me. So much blood. I'm sure it's my coochie snorcher. It's finally fallen out. Alfred is paralyzed for life, and my mama doesn't let me see my father for 7 years. 13 years old. My coochie snorcher is in a very bad place. A place of pain, nastiness, punching, invasion, blood. It's a sight for mishaps. It's a bad luck zone. I imagine a freeway between my legs, and I'm traveling and going far from here. Memory, 16 years old. There's this gorgeous 24-year-old lady who lives in our neighborhood, and I stare at her all the time. One day, she invited me into her car. She asks me if I like to kiss boys, and I tell her I do not like to do that. Then she says she wants to show me something. She leans over and she kisses me so softly on the lips, with her lips. Then she puts her tongue in my mouth. Wow. She asks me if I want to come over to her house. I so do. And then she kisses me again and tells me to relax, to feel it, to let our tongues feel it. She asks my mama if I can spend the night, and my mother is delighted that a beautiful, successful woman has taken interest in me. I'm scared and I can't wait. Her apartment is fantastic. She's got it hooked up. It's the 70s, the beads, the fluffy pillows, the mood lights. I decide right then and there that I'm going to be a secretary when I grow up. She makes a vodka for herself and then she asks what I want to drink. I said the same as her. And she said, my mama probably wouldn't like me doing that. And I said, my mama probably won't like me kissing girls. And she made me a drink. Then she changed into this chocolate satin teddy. She's so beautiful. I say, you look great. And she says, so do you. I say, but I only have this white cotton bra and underpants. Then she dresses me, slowly, in another satin teddy. It's lavender, like the soft first days of spring. The alcohol's gone to my head. I'm loose, I'm ready. There's a picture over her bed. It's of a naked black woman with a huge afro. She gently and slowly lays me out on the bed. Just our bodies rubbing together makes me come. Then she does everything to me and my coochie snorcher that I always thought was nasty before. And wow, I'm so hot, I'm so wild. She says, your vagina, untouched by a man, smells so nice, so fresh. I wish I could keep it that way forever. I get crazy wild. And then the phone rings. Of course, it's my mama. I'm sure she knows. She catches me at everything. I'm breathing so heavy and I try to act normal when she gets on the phone and she says,
"What's wrong with you? Have you been running?" And I say, "No, exercising." Then she tells the beautiful secretary to make sure I'm not around boys, and the lady tells her, "Trust me, there are no boys around here." Afterwards, the gorgeous lady teaches me everything about my coochie structure. She makes me play with myself in front of her. She teaches me all the different ways to give myself pleasure. She's very thorough. She tells me to always know how to give myself pleasure so that I never need to rely on the man. In the morning, I'm worried I've become a butch because I'm so in love with her. She laughs at me, but I never see her again. I realized later that she was my surprising and unexpected and politically incorrect salvation. She transformed my sorry-ass coochie snorcher and raised it into a kind of heaven.
Hi. We need to talk. Hear me out, because I am on a mission. I don't want to love my private part, my cookie, my kitty cat. I love my cunt. Cunt. I'm reclaiming it. Cunt. Just listen to it. Cunt. Cob. Cob. Cavern. Cackle. Clit. Cute. Come. Closed. Closed inside. Come inside. Then you. See you. Curvy. Inviting. Shark skin you. Uniform, under, up, urge, ooh, ooh, you, then N, then C-U-N, cun, snug letters fitting perfectly together, warm and safe, N. Nest, now. Nexus, nice. Always deep, always round. Cun, cun. Jagged, wicked, electrical pulse. N, N. Soft N, warm N. Cun, cun. Then T, then T. Then sharp, certain, tangy T. Texture, take, tight, tent, tantalizing, tensing, taste. Tell me. No, really, tell me. Tell me, come on. Say it. Say it. Cunt. Tell me again. Come on. For the people in the back. Woo! Oh, I love that word. I can't get enough of it. I can't stop saying it. It's good for everything. Feeling a little irritated at the grocery store, at the airport. Just say cunt. Everything changes. Cunt. 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 What did you say? I said cunt. Cunt, 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 cunt. Try it. Go on. One more time. Cunt. Cunt. I'm a cunt. You're a... No. Nope. No. Nope. My mother is watching. No. No. I can't. But I can't stop saying it. One more time. Cunt. will turn your whole day around. I promise you. Cut!
Six-year-old girl was asked if your vagina got dressed, what would it wear? Red high tops. And a Wonder Woman cap worn backwards. If it could speak, what would it say? It would say words that begin with F. Ooh.
The mic's not on. If it could speak, what would it say? It would say words that begin with F and P. Fart and poop are examples. What does your vagina remind you of? A pretty dark peach and a diamond I found from a treasure, and it's mine. What's special about your vagina? Somewhere deep inside, it has a really, really, really smart brain. What does it smell like? Snowflakes.
Hey y'all. This thing tall. So, I have a little piece here. It's called Ode to the V. Love, R&B. The love below. That's where this flower is found. Shaking the clouds until there's no more wetness in them. Spreading the soil for the seeds planted to flourish. A taste of honey. Oh, so sweet. Peaches and cream. Oh, not just another treat. Journey through the universe. We don't have to escape because we already possess the softest place on earth. Downtown, that's the way to my love. Take it round and round. And where LL's traveling again, doing it and doing it and doing it well. Sugar walls, temperatures rise extra hot when blood races to private spots. Pussycats in laps, no looking back from that international player. Poontangs in electric relaxation. Speakers boiling, beats flowing, that deep bass making the floor vibrate. Crown Royal on ice. Cotton candy, Majin Buu, eyes closing and falling into you. Pleasure over matter. My persuasion, my golden flower. Oh, I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. That bushy, that soft pink matter, that little red Corvette, that pink, that pussy.
Boklan, or Boklan as she's known in my ancestral language of Taiwanese, is not a Disney princess. In the 90s cartoon, Mulan goes off to war. She acts like a man, and for doing so, she's considered defiant. This is an act punishable by death for challenging the gender norm. In the classic poem, in fact, Boklan actually goes to war and she becomes a man with her parents' permission and their full knowledge. She, for being gender fluid, is not considered an outcast. Her comrades, who know her for 12 years as a man, are surprised when she comes out as a woman. But the reality is that her identity is accepted and understood. So this is Boklan Shi, which is in Taiwanese. Jik jik, hu jik jik, Boklan dong ho jit, Pubun ki tu shing, Wibun lu tan sik. Bonlu ho so shi, Bonlu ho so ek. Luik bo so shi, Luik bo so ek. Chop ya king kun yak, Kikan dai diam bing, Kun su ship shi kwan, Kwan kwan liu ya bing. Aya bo dai ji, Boklan bo tiong heng, Kwan wi ji an ma, Zhong zu te ya jing. Dong shi mai zun ma, Se ji mai an zen, Lam shi mai pi kyo, Pok shi mai tiong bian. Tiao ya zhang pui, Bo suk hong so ben, Put bon ya zhang huan lu shing, Tan won hong ho liu sui beng zen zen. Dan shi hong ho ki, Bo ki hik san kyo, Put bon ya zhang huan lu shing, Tan bon yan san ho ki sheng ju ju. Ban li hu zhong ki, Wan san bo zhok pui, Shok ki tuan kim tok, Hang gong jiong jan diat yi, Zhong kun pik xian su, Zhong su ship ni gui. Wei lan ging dian zu, Dian zu zo beng dong, Chik hun ship si zuan, Shong su pik shang kyong. Kik han po so yok, Boklan bok yong shong su yong, Wan jia beng do jan li juk, Song ji huan ko kyong. Ya zhang wen lu lai, Zuk gek shong yuk huk zhong, A jia wen wei lai, Hong do li hong zong, Xiao de wen zhe lai, Bo do hok hok hyong du yong. Gai niu dong gok buk, Zu niu zeng gok zhong, Duan niu jan si po, Yak niu qiu shi xiong. Dong zong li hun bin, Tui king tiak hua hong, Zut mon gan huak fon hai keng gong, Dan hong sip ji dian, Bút di Boklan si lu long. Yong do chok chok sok, Ji do gan baby, Yong do beng de chok, An jen pian yo si hyong ji.
Hey, so I was 33 when I finally let a guy go down on me. I just decided it was time. I was in Manhattan. My friend and I went out to this bar and we met these two dudes and they bought us drinks and got a little loose and they invited us to their place in Midtown. You know, they secure building, like doorman and everything. So we get up there, and my friend, Tiffany, she just starts macking on her dude, like, instantaneously. And my dude, yeah, I don't remember his name, he takes me to the bedroom. He's kind of dopey looking. He kisses me,
he whispers into my ear and says, "I want to taste you." And I immediately ask to use the bathroom. I'm like all throbby down there, and so I sit down. I didn't have to pee, but I washed. And then, because I was like really sticky. And so then I go back to the room, and he like takes me in his arms and he throws me on the bed, and he starts working his way down from top to bottom and trying to get me to, spread. And so I reach around, I stroke his back, and he's all crusty and has back acne. And I really, really, really wanted to go, but I really, really needed a freaking orgasm. No, I've had them. I think. Okay, I know everybody says, if you think you've had one, you've not had one. It's true. Anyway, so I just, let him do his thing, and he starts, and he's like sucking, and it sounds moist and really gross. And it feels okay. And so I start moaning, and I start moving, like I see in movies and, Sex in the City. Because they did that kind of stuff on that show. And I'm making noises. 5 minutes later, I've got nothing. I've got bupkis. And then he stops. I'm like, why did you stop? So he comes up and he gives me a kiss, and I'm like, okay, bonus. I don't taste so bad. And I was done. Really wanted to leave, but I kind of felt obligated. So I let him have sex with me. It was not great. Did not have an orgasm. I faked it though. I ran home, ate a sub, had a cigarette, and went to sleep. In my mind, I'm like this goddess, like this confident, can get on all fours, stick my butt in the air, and just ride. Maybe one day.
Every 68 seconds in the U.S., someone is sexually assaulted. And every 9 minutes, that person is a child. Oh, I'm fucking over it. I'm over women, cisgender, transgender, gender nonconforming, and femme-presenting, having to tell our stories over and over, traumatizing and re-traumatizing ourselves over and over, when the stories and names and identities of perpetrators remain protected and anonymous. I'm over the 3 out of 4 women who experience sexual harassment, feeling they can't tell anyone for fear of losing their jobs or not being believed. I'm over 33 million U.S. women being sexually harassed and 14 million sexually abused in work-related incidents. I'm over 76% of nurses being attacked, verbally assaulted and kicked, punched, bitten, grabbed, or attacked by their patients or visitors on the job. I'm over 1 in 3 women in the U.S. military getting raped by their comrades. I'm over the fact that half of all transgender women and lesbians experience sexual violence. I'm over the fact that 75% of women in prison have histories of severe physical abuse by an intimate partner, and 82% suffering serious physical or sexual abuse as children. And they are being further punished rather than healed. I'm over violence against women not being a #1 international priority, when 1 out of 3 women will be raped or beaten in her lifetime. I'm over being polite about misogyny, and I'm over sexual assault. It's been too long now. We have been too understanding, and it needs to end now. And really, deeply, truly, I'm over the passivity of good men. Where the hell are you? You live with us, you work with us, you make love with us, you father us, befriend us, brother us, get nurtured and mothered, and eternally supported by us. So why aren't you standing with us? Why aren't you driven to the point of madness and action by the sexual assault and harassment, degradation, and humiliation of us? A personal story. I learned something on TikTok. I learn a lot of things on TikTok. My algorithm is very trained to give me tips on self-defense. Shocker. And I learned that if you're living alone and you want it to appear that maybe it's not a safe place to invade, you buy or you borrow a men's pair of boots. You get them dirty, like they've been used, and you put them outside your front door. So if anybody comes and thinking about robbing you or burglarizing you or whatever, they see those boots and they may think twice. And I told a male friend about this. Hey, look what I learned. And he said, oh, that's a great idea. And I thought, yeah, you're right, that is a great idea. And then I stewed on it. And I stewed on it, and I thought about it, and then I got mad. And I thought, why did you react like that? Why was it just, oh, that's a good idea? Why weren't you frustrated? Why weren't you enraged at what I told you, that this is something that I'm just learning on TikTok that's helping me? I thought about that for a long time. So I think it's really important for us to ask the men in our lives, why aren't you rising in droves? Going beyond apologies and confessions, realizing this issue is your issue, not ours. Why don't you see, if you were to stand as one fierce band of insistent, consistent, loving men speaking to your brothers, calling out your brothers, interrogating yourselves, dismantling patriarchy in every meeting, audition hall, hotel, hospital, office, farm, school, locker room, and the most important is making it a priority to deconstruct your own patriarchy. This whole thing would change. There are approximately 1 billion women on the planet who have been violated. 1 billion women. We're tired of nice guys. We want you angry as hell. We want you angry as we are. If your reaction to a friend, lover, wife, partner, telling you that she learned a trick on TikTok to avoid being assaulted in her own home, and your reaction is, oh, that's a good idea, and not being heartbroken and not being enraged, you are part of the problem. Please, the men in this room, in particular cisgender men, the men in my life, the men in all our lives, can we please rise together? You are the last piece in dismantling the patriarchy. It's your time to change the paradigm. Help us rebirth the culture, because we know that when women are free, safe, and equal, and allowed to be alive in all our intensity, the whole story will finally change.
When I was asked to do this, I said, vagina monologue. I got you, vagina travelogue. So, this is a little thank you note. Thanks to my vagina. Thanks to my vagina, certain things happened since I was born. Thanks to my vagina, I had to smile a lot, look pretty, be a pretty girl, perform for the male gaze, starting in childhood. It's what everyone expected, encouraged, and rewarded. Little Kelly sat on men's laps even when she didn't want to, like it was my job, my role, my obligation. Thanks to my vagina, the teacher had me sit in the front of the class, and when he would stroll by my seat during his lecture, he would pause, stand over me, look down, all eyes on me, and say, Why aren't you smiling? There, that's much better. And carry on with his lecture. Thanks to my vagina when I was a teenager and kissed boys, I'd get confused and embarrassed. Why are my underpants so wet? I thought it was gross, humiliating. Maybe if I distract him enough, he won't find out. Back then, we had to go to libraries, actual buildings, to look up any information about our own bodies. It was really hard to find. We've only mapped out the clitoris in the past 20 years, folks, so there was even less information then. No internet. Thanks to my vagina, I felt lucky that I could orgasm when other friends hadn't quite cracked the code. I learned what my body liked on my own. We became friends. The door had opened. Thanks to my vagina, I felt lucky that I could orgasm at all with my husband. So what did it matter that I was unfulfilled sexually and emotionally for 13 years? I was gaslighted by him and couples therapists and society's regard to women's sexuality. Well, sex isn't the most important thing. Maybe not the most important, but maybe we should figure something out. I stuffed down routine rejections, being told, just get yourself off. I believed him when he said, you're just not into penetration. Routine experiences of feeling unloved, of not ever connecting in sex, intimacy, and love, of not fully being loved as a woman and wife, manifested in sadness and rage. Thanks to my vagina, I birthed 2 beautiful children. There's no better appreciation for the power of my pussy and her friend, the uterus, than birth. I'm also fortunate to be a midwife and feel that force as someone pushes her baby into the world. Thanks to my vagina, those guys would be friends with me for years. Brother figure, father figure, emotionally support me, comfort me, advise me, and rescue me. Groom me until I was at my most vulnerable. And I thought it was clear that I did not have any sexual attraction toward him. But that didn't matter anymore. Lines were crossed. I said no, he persisted. It wasn't everything okay with me because it was a beautiful, loving moment for him. I felt violated. I was violated. I did something I didn't want to do because I trusted him. He was persistent, and I was vulnerable. They had no business making decisions involving my body. Thanks to my vagina, I found out I definitely like penetration. Storms, alien invasion, clutch on for dear, dear life kind of pleasure. Spontaneous orgasm while tango dancing? Yup, she can do that too. Thanks to my vagina, that anesthesiologist groped me from behind the surgical drape. Thanks to my vagina, it has friends, turns out. My pussy enjoys a chemical cocktail of dopamine, endorphins, oxytocin, and vasopressin. Thanks to my vagina, her neighbor is the clitoris, which is both external and internal, straddling, hugging my vagina. Thanks to my vagina, I was raped. When you're raped, you don't plan for your rape. You don't troubleshoot, you don't hurriedly collect your own evidence during your rape or soon after. It wasn't a good rape, not good enough. Not good enough for law enforcement, not good enough for the justice system. I was one of a very small percentage of people who actually reported to police. That was after 30 days. That was when I thought I could secure documentation. I actually did. None of that mattered. My life was also threatened. None of that mattered. I had a vagina,
and I was perceived a certain way, and not worthy of protection, not worthy of justice. Ultimately, the state prosecutor's office told me, "We believe you, but we can't win. We don't think a jury will believe you. Our justice system is about our peers. Our justice system is about people understanding that non-consent is not okay. It's not just about the body parts." Thanks to my vagina, I wanted a safe way not to conceive, to not have any more children. I was done. I chose a permanent device called eShort, no longer on the market. It was pulled from the market, by the way, not because it was harming women, but because the FDA allowed the company to say, "We're not making enough sales. Go ahead and put the final ones you already bought in your office in women." I survived this type of implanted tubal sterilization that was harming my body, but it cost me my uterus. If I wanted surgery, I would have had a tubal ligation. I did not choose a hysterectomy. My joints hurt so bad I couldn't move. I have massive inflammation in my body, asthma worsening, pain, depression, brain fog. Something was in my body we thought was safe, but it wasn't, and I had to practically beg colleague surgeons to take it out. Thanks to my vagina, I know her now. She's mine. I'm expansive. A goddess. Earth, wind, fire, new life, resurrection, magic, endless possibilities. Thanks to my vagina, I know my power, pussy power. I know about my vagina and everyone else who has a vagina, or anyone else who has experiences related to what other people think they should have or not have. Our vaginas, our life itself, are divine. This is why I believe we are feared and raped and beaten and killed worldwide. We really do have that much power, and those who have a perceived threat to their own oppressive power will always use any brutality, any means of exerting power, any form of death and destruction to maintain that power. We must restore balance. If not in our broader culture, in our own selves, in our own serenity, in our own communities. Because isn't that all our collective creator really wants for us, to be in balance like nature? For others to stay out of the way of our divine within. Our vaginas are sources of joy, but also great pain. Duality. I'm learning to embrace both. No matter what happens around us, we have the power to love our vaginas, love our deepest selves, our broken selves, our whole selves, value ourselves. Our traumas don't define us. Our expressions of healing, creativity, joy, love, and ecstatic experience were given to us naturally. As humans, for generations and generations, our vaginas are ours. Our autonomy is everything to our human dignity, our human rights. And we cannot go it alone. That's why we're all here today, together listening to each other, sharing our stories, sharing other people's stories, amplifying them as a community. We don't heal alone. Vaginas are intersectional. When one hurts, we all hurt. We have infinite strength and resilience in our vaginas, ourselves, and together. Thank you.
I love vaginas. I love women. I do not see them as separate things. Women pay me to dominate them, to excite them, to make them come. I did not start out like this. No, to the contrary, I started as a lawyer. But in my late 30s, I became obsessed with making women happy. It became a mission of sorts, but then I got involved in it. I got very good at it, kind of brilliant. It was my art. I was getting paid for it. It was as if I had found my calling. I wore outrageous outfits when I dominated women. Lace and silk and leather. Too many props. And I used props. Whips, handcuffs, rope, dildos. There was nothing like this in tax law. There were no props, no excitement. Ugh, and I hated those blue corporate suits, although I do wear them from time to time in my new line of work, and they serve quite nicely. There were no props in corporate law, no wetness, no dark, mysterious foreplay, no erect nipples, no delicious mouths. But mainly, there was no moaning. Not the kind I'm talking about anyway. This was the key I see now. Moaning was the thing that ultimately seduced me and got me addicted to making women happy. When I was a little girl, I would see women in movies making love, making strange, orgasmic moaning noises. I used to laugh. I got strangely hysterical. I couldn't believe that big, ungoverned sounds like that used to come out of women. I longed to moan. I practiced in front of my mirror, on a tape recorder, moaning in various keys and various tones. But always when I played it back, it sounded fake. It was fake. It wasn't rooted in anything sexual, really, only in a desire to be sexual. But then, when I was 10, I had to pee really badly once on a car trip. It went on for almost an hour. And when I finally got to pee in this dirty little gas station, it was so exciting. I moaned. I moaned as I peed. I couldn't believe it. Me moaning in a Texaco station in the middle of Louisiana. I realized right then that moans are connected to not getting what you want right away, to putting things off. I realized that moans were best when they caught you by surprise. They came out of this hidden, mysterious part of you that was speaking its own language. I realized that moans, in fact, were that language. I became a moaner. It made most men anxious. Frankly, it terrified them. I was loud and they couldn't concentrate on what they were doing. They'd lose focus and then they'd lose everything. We couldn't make love in people's homes. The walls were too thin. I got a reputation in the building. People stared with me with contempt in the elevator. Men thought I was too intense. Some called me insane. I began to feel bad about moaning. I got quiet and polite. I made noise into a pillow. I learned to choke my moan, to hold it back like a sneeze. I began to get headaches and stress-related disorders. I was becoming hopeless when then I discovered women. I discovered that most women loved my moaning. But most importantly, I discovered how deeply I got excited when other women moaned, when I was responsible for their moaning. I made love to quiet women, and I found this place inside of them, and they shocked themselves in their moaning. I made love to moaners, and they found a deeper, more penetrating moan. It was a kind of surgery, a delicate science, finding the tempo, the exact location, the home of the moan. That's what I called it. Sometimes I found it over a woman's jeans. Sometimes I snuck up on it off the record, quietly disarming the surrounding alarms and moving in. Sometimes I used force, but not violent, oppressive force. More like dominating. I'm going to take you somewhere. Don't worry, lay back and enjoy the ride kind of force. Sometimes it was simply mundane. I found the moan before things even started, while we were eating salad or chicken, just casual, right there, with my fingers. Here it is like that, real simple in the kitchen, all mixed in with the balsamic vinegar. Sometimes, like I said, I used props. Ooh, I loved props. Sometimes I made the woman find her own moan right in front of me. I waited, stuck it out until she opened herself. I wasn't fooled by the minor, more obvious moans. No, I pushed her all the way into her power moan. There's the clit moan, the vaginal moan, the combo clit vaginal moan, there's the almost moan, there's the right on it moan, the elegant moan, there's the Miley Cyrus moan, the elegant moan, oops, that I did that one already, the wasp moan, the Jewish moan, no, the black moan, shit, the Irish Catholic moan, forgive me, the mountaintop moan, the baby moan, the doggy moan, the uninhibited militant bisexual moan, the machine gun moan, the tortured Zen moan, the diva moan, the college moan, I should be studying, and then finally, the surprise triple orgasm moan.
All right, did you all have a good time? Yeah. All right, thank you so much for being here. We all had a really lovely time. I hope you did too. We're gonna do a couple of shout outs here. So the 100% of the proceeds that we collected tonight will go to a few local nonprofits. So we just wanted to give a shout out for each of those organizations. I think that's me. All right, Gallup Community Help. Yeah, let's get a cheer for that. Yes. All right, started by our own Val Wangler. Can we get a little pop? Yeah. So Gallup Community Help is a conglomeration of passionate and committed providers raising the standard of care in McKinley County. They strive to provide excellent, accessible health care for all, including all facets of reproductive health care, such as contraception, prenatal care, abortion care, and gender-affirming care. So, yay! All right, Navajo Nation Breastfeeding Coalition. I think Amanda's in the audience somewhere. Yeah! All right, so the mission of Navajo Nation Breastfeeding Coalition is to improve the health of Navajo families by providing compassionate, unbiased, accessible care, and improving all birthing families and infant health through holistic traditional practices and to promote healing. Round of applause.
Indigenous Women Rising is committed to honoring Native and Indigenous peoples' inherent right to equitable and culturally sensitive health options through accessible health education, resources, and advocacy. Their abortion fund is open to all Native and Indigenous people in the United States and Canada who have the capacity to become pregnant and are seeking an abortion in the United States.
Sexual Assault Services of Northwest New Mexico. Since 2004, they've been keeping residents in San Juan, Rio Arriba, and McKinley counties overcome sexual assault situations. They provide sexual assault nurse exams, crisis advocacy, and counseling. The staff also work in the community to prevent sexual assault through multi-session education-based programs with specific groups. This education includes awareness programs, including safe dates, healthy relationship curriculum, and a lot of these programs are geared towards high school students.
Battered Family Shelter empowers and advocates for women and children's safety. They offer help for women and children who are exposed to domestic violence. They offer emergency shelters, 24-hour crisis line, safety planning, transportation, survivor services. They are also their advocates and caregivers.
And let's give a quick round of applause to the lovely humans who made all our artwork for the show tonight. Yes. Corey made this beautiful artwork that you can purchase out front for a donation towards these lovely organizations we talked about. Dea made this artwork. This is also out front to purchase. Najoni made this artwork, which we love. Also out front to purchase. Oh, that's it. And then cells, which you've seen all around the Red Rock kind of artwork as well, which I thought I'd put the end in. Anyways, thank you so much everyone for coming. We really appreciate it. There's a ton of information about other organizations out there. Please pick up everything and anything you want. There's that silent auction. We'll do one more round as y'all are going out, and then we'll let the winners know by text. Great, 8:20 it closes. And then, there's a bunch of artwork and cards out for donation if you'd like to donate. And then a sign-up sheet if you're interested and want to get involved next time we do this. Thank you so much, everybody.
Oh, and please take all of the free swag because we have more. And we need it to go.
Oh, okay. Can everyone stand up really quick who was involved? Yeah, can you do a big round of applause? Thank you so much, everybody. This is really incredible.
Please continue to support local communities. This could be you next round. If you'd like to keep seeing performing arts in Gallup, definitely sign up. Thank you, everyone.